I think you know the answer.
I wanted you to demonstrate different driving techniques.
Oh, I didn't even start driving. That was the interpretive dance to figure out how to drive a car.
Oh.
And I think you know the answer. Welcome to Mythical Morning, where your questions matter to somebody, and we answer them, because we're the people here. Okay, no, your questions matter to us. Why am I out of breath from that little bit of something?
It's weird.
It's weird. It's really weird.
Let's start with Tony H. Tall Man. How to manage pee stops while consuming coffee/NEG drinks.
NEG drinks. I am a
pee management is important.
I am a frequent consumer of coffee and NEG drinks. So, and you want to stay hydrated when you're behind the wheel, or beside someone behind a wheel, or behind someone who's behind a wheel, depending on where you are in the vehicle. All that to say, I'm stalling.
Well, I'm typically
this is a difficult answer.
I mean, I'm typically the longest holder in my family.
Is the bladder size proportional to the height? It must be, right?
Well, I think men have larger bladders than women.
But I mean, when you're 6'7"
and then I've
versus
got a big
6 foot tall, is your bladder proportionally bigger than mine?
I don't necessarily think that's the case.
I think it has to be the case.
Just based on empirical evidence and just my own anecdotal experience, I have a large bladder. I could probably hold like a gallon.
That's a big bladder, man.
I mean, sometimes.
But how do you manage it? Because you still have to go.
And then like 2.5 minutes will pass. Sometimes. I don't know what my record is.
But how do you? Let's answer the question. How do you manage pee stops?
Well, I think what I was saying is I don't end up having to, because my wife or my kids are gonna have to stop before I do. So I set goals.
They determine it. I don't really see this in California, but in the Carolinas, they have mile markers. Did they not have those out here?
They have them out here. They're not as frequent.
So then it's like every single mile, there's a mile marker on the interstate, at least for most of the country, and I use that to set a goal. It's like I'm gonna go 25 more miles. And then if there's not an exit, then I'll just pee on that road marker.
I'm about to say, that seems like a horrible system, because like
you got to set a goal to push yourself. It's like,
how about the next gas station?
No, because you want to, on a road trip, you want to get as far as you can before you hit the reset button on your.
I'm going to go at least
bladder.
25 miles, and then the first gas station.
Yeah, after that, then I'm going to do that. So I just set incremental goals, and also carry 2 Target bags with a ShamWow in it.
Yeah, but there are 2 just quick pieces of advice. Number 1, you should regularly stretch your bladder, not to incredible lengths. I mean, you can die from holding your pee.
This is not proven.
But it is proven that stretching your bladder increases the capacity. The second thing...
It is not proven that it's healthy.
Oh, no, but it makes your bladder bigger, and that's a convenience thing. If you want your bladder to be bigger, then you should stretch it. And now you made me forget my second thought. I'll come back to it.
How do I stay awake while driving on a road trip? Paradox Peach asks. Ice cubes in the crotch area. Brittany Floyd asks, how would you take down the worst car DJ ever and gain control for yourself?
Well, this is also important, because the music that you listen to while you're on the road determines the enjoyment level,
the mood, where your brain goes.
And if you got somebody who doesn't know how to manage this well, it can ruin a trip. It can take an otherwise fun, enjoyable trip and make it a miserable excursion.
Has this happened to you?
No, because I don't let it happen. I take control.
I'm a good car DJ. You don't have to take over for me. Typically, if I'm driving and we're on a road trip, then you'll DJ and vice versa. You shouldn't do both, first of all. But our friend Mike is the worst car DJ ever. You know, I've told him this. I've made fun of him to his face. I'll make fun of him here. He'll start playing a song, and then he'll be like, have you heard so-and-so? And be like, no. He's like, let me play that.
He switches it.
And then he'll switch it. And then he'll take the volume knob.
45 seconds or so.
And he'll turn the volume up, he'll like be adjusting the volume.
The whole time.
And then halfway through the song, he'll say, have you heard of so-and-so? And then
it's like a song gives him an idea about another song, and he wants to immediately
Then he switches it. And if you don't stop him for days, he'll play the first half of every song he has,
but we told
at
him
varying volumes.
No, but we've corrected it. We're like, Mike, if you're gonna be the DJ, you got to just pick a genre or an album, and you just got to let it go.
Because in a road trip, the beautiful thing is, if you're album oriented, then you start to associate locations with albums. You can't. I don't believe in a single mindset, and by that I mean playing singles when driving on a road trip. I believe in having an album mindset. Now, if a song really sucks, if there's like 8 minutes of feedback in the middle of it because they thought it was a good idea, yeah, you can skip that. But in general, the more you play an entire album, the more it can be associated with a certain part of a road trip. And then whenever you go there from then on, it's like, oh yeah, this is the Bee Gees moment. I don't know why I said Bee Gees.
I don't think there's any way this system is going to work. But
what?
I mean, maybe.
What? The album thing? You don't like?
No, I agree with the album mentality, but that you're going to associate it with locations now?
Of course, yeah. I listen to albums even when I'm not on a road trip. And then, so I'll listen to an album.
You associate it with your couch?
And I'll commit to, on driving. And I'll commit to listening to it. Like, I'm not going to make a judgment about whether I like this album or not until I've listened to it like 3 times through. And so I start to associate a certain album when I go back to it with a certain point in my life.
With a certain commute.
A certain point in my life. Like, I remember we were working on so-and-so when I was listening to that album. That happens. Because when you go back to the album years later, you're like, I remember when I was into that. I remember there was a Red Hot Chili Pepper album that like kind of sucked that no one bought. That was one of the later ones. And it was when I worked at IBM. And I listened to it. And so now whenever I listen to that, I'm thankful that I no longer work for IBM. Or really listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers that often.
Victoria,
I'm still a fan.
Cura Johnson, how many times during the trip should Barcelona by Bill Newman be played? I think you can get away with once an hour, probably for at least maybe a week.
I think you take the total running time of Barcelona, and then you take the total length of your road trip, and divide A into B, and you get your answer.
So that would mean as much as possible.
Yeah.
Sage Thomas, where should I go for a road trip? It's not about the destination, Sage.
Pick a direction.
It's about the journey. And it's about the company, and it's about the vehicle that you choose. And the food that you eat along the way.
Don't go with Mike.
Yeah, don't go with that dude. You know what day it is.
Your guitar is so out of tune. I'm not going to even participate.
It's Thursday.
Wasn't it?
No, it's not. Your brain is out of tune. It's a little bit out of tune, but it's not so out of tune. You know what day it is. It's Thursday. And Thursday means mail.
Mail. I don't know, something about that first chord. I'm back here. I'm in the back seat.
Yeah, what's happening?
I'm in the back seat.
Far away.
My back seat drive.
Wow, there's a lot of fast food on the ground.
Yeah, it is. Pick a hack. Which one are you going to try out?
Are you making me try one?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
I'm making you build it yourself.
But you can take that cooler with you.
And share some.
Yeah, the cooler looks very
social
appetizing.
media pictures.
Okay.
Yeah. So none of those enticed you? Candy corn dog?
Yeah, I mean, I would be into that one. It looked
Yeah, you would.
like a chocolate bar, but I don't really like hot dogs that much.
Looks like a chocolate bar until you bite it.
And then you're like,
And
that
then it
is
tastes
meat.
like a hot dog.
Chocolate covered banana.
This and this.
Yeah, I'm interested in finding out what this is. You want to read?
There you go.
You want me to read?
Dear Rhett and Link and crew 2, hello. I'm not sure when this will reach you, but I'm sending it anyway for
Now.
the Mythical Mail Museum. This year I would really love to give back much more, so I'm starting with sending you this. This little guy is called an Inukshuk, pronounced Inukshuk.
Cool.
He was carved by Inuit artist David Amutu.
And he signed the bottom.
And comes from the community in Nunavik, or northern Quebec, called Purinatug. One of the main purposes of the Inukshuk was a way of communication in the Arctic, although these tiny representations are mainly art pieces. Hope he's a good gift for the Mythical Mail Museum. Jocelyn.
So it's a means of communication in the Arctic. How do you know how?
Yeah. So.
Because you two are
being
Canadian.
It's a privilege.
Very much so, yes. Basically, they're not always this small. This is just a representation of them. Usually they're massive, like using the biggest rocks you can find.
Oh, like billboard sized?
Some of them are just huge. Like in Whistler, there's one that's at the top of the mountain that is like, I'm like the size of its leg, essentially.
How did they stack that? They stacked it?
Yeah, they stacked the rocks. And usually they're like, these ones are really flat. And this is a smaller flat one, that's a flat one, and this one's a little bit more of a boulder, and this one's a boulder. But it's supposed to represent a human as if like somebody was there before you.
Oh, wow.
That was what was being communicated. Mm-hmm. We've been here already.
Yeah.
We made this big rock man.
Or you're on the right path. Or I'm not
Could
really
you climb it at Whistler? Or would
no.
the rocks come off of it?
The rocks wouldn't come off of it. They're too heavy.
That's a feat of engineering.
Usually this would go all the way across.
Well, it's aliens, Link. It's
it would be one rock all the way across.
I used to make them when I was younger.
Not capable of that kind of thing without modern machinery or alien technology. So, just like Easter Island and the pyramids and Inukshuk, once again, proof of alien life.
Yeah, totally.
We have proof of alien life.
They're really cool, though.
In fact, an alien probably made that. This guy.
He's an alien.
David Mitu?
Amutu.
Those must be his numbers.
Well, I mean, a Mitu backwards is
Alien.
Utima, which is
Alien.
Swahili for alien. You know, you do the math long enough, something works.
I bet the light will dance off of this perfectly in the Mythical Mail Museum.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Because it's Canadian.
Yeah.